The Gulls Nest is on the air. It's time for a weekly dose of Seaside High School athletics with the Gulls Nest. If it happens on the field, in the pool, or on the court, you'll hear it here. The Gulls Nest is sponsored by Ocean Crest Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac.
Good evening and welcome to the Gulls Nest. Jason Boyd here with head girls basketball coach Mike Haas. Coach, welcome to the show.
Good evening, Jason.
The Gulls Nest is brought to you by Ocean Crest Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac, home of lifetime warranty. We'd also like to thank our participating sponsor, Seaside Factory Outlet Center, and Angelina's Pizzeria and Cafe. So, Coach, kind of an exciting show planned today because we have some actual games that we've played since the last time we've talked. If we go back to the beginning of the league last Thursday, we traveled to Scappoose, played on Thursday night, and Scappoose was a good test for us, I thought.
Yeah, it's nice to not be discussing weather reports and actual basketball game summaries. You know, it'd been a while since we'd played, so you're always apprehensive about what layer of rust you will uncover. And Scappoose girls, I loved, they are playing with kind of a renewed energy and didn't give up. And so it turned out to be a pretty good game for us. We were able to get up and down the court a little bit and run some of that rust off, and yet Scappoose girls played hard, shot the ball well. I know you commented.
Oh yeah, I can't.
When they had shots, they knocked them down, but it was still a ball game that got a lot of contributions all around, and a nice road win.
Right. Well, it was when you talk about the shots, and yeah, I was so surprised at. It seemed like every time they had an open shot, they nailed it. Didn't matter if it was a three, if it was a lay-in, a 12-footer. I mean, they made all their shots, but your guys' defense was only allowing them about one out of every seven trips down the floor to get a shot off. The stifling the 1-2-2 press and half-court trap and half-court defense was great the first half. And then the second half looked like you went to a man, worked some other kids in, worked some different styles of defense. Have that opportunity to I don't want to say the word practice, but work on different things that make your repertoire bigger for the need later down the road.
Absolutely, especially man. We hadn't played a lot of man in the non-league portion, a little bit, but we knew that we have to be able to do that as we go along the season, especially against better teams. And we've been practicing, and so I'm trying to roll it out. And actually, all the games we played some man, and it's coming along, and we feel pretty good about it. So you're exactly right. We did throw a lot of different looks at Scappoose, and that's kind of what we want to do. Actually,
Right.
We want to be a full court zone press. Fall back in the zone, half court traps, man, full man. So we were able to, do the full repertoire.
So finish with a good win on Saturday, and then you come back and have really one day of practice, and then really at that point the biggest game of the year as far as kind of some of the talent that we've seen. Gladstone. Marshfield are two games that I know we've talked before and kind of felt like maybe under a little different circumstances or another shot at those teams that we can definitely compete and win those games. So now Valley comes in and ranked at the top 5, and that I guess it's a team that has a lot of mystique to it, especially over the years. And I know you got a chance to scout him a little bit, but it was a fantastic ball game.
Yeah, thank you. It was a nice week. We made up, kind of moved everything back and had Astoria Saturday, and kind of took care of business on the Astoria game. Again, kind of played well for the most part. That game just briefly, Maddie got in foul trouble, and so
Right. Yeah, and I didn't want to bypass that. I just was so excited to talk about Valley Catholic.
but
Astoria.
But Astoria just briefly, had to have some kids step up with Maddie on the bench for most of the second half actually. The last part was just because we had a good lead.
Right.
So that was, again, kind of like the Scappoose game. We were able to do some different things, and we were very balanced scoring on that, and felt like made strides. And then that set up, the Valley game.
Right.
And, measuring stick, certainly who we are. We've had the Gladstone and the Marshfield, and those are probably the two best teams we played. In fact, their coach asked me, who's the best team you played? And I said, I think Marshfield up to this point. And so, we laced them up and really kind of jumped out to kind of 6-2 lead and kept the lead throughout. Hanneke Garhofer came off the bench and, hit a couple threes in that first half, and but Valley clawed their way back and tied it up, I think, at 26, and then we just had a little 4-point run, took the lead at halftime, and then came out in the third quarter and kind of locked them down and extended that lead, and then had a little stretch really where Maddie just kind of took over for a little bit and had, I think, a 9-11 point run to kind of get the game in our control. Just really pleased. It was a huge game. Again, Maddie was awesome. Sydney was awesome. Briar and Jetta, Lucy, just everyone helped contribute. So we're real pleased. It was a really good win for us.
Great. When we return, we'll talk more basketball with Coach Haas.
Stand by for more with Jason Boyd and the Gulls Nest next on 102.3 KCRX. Now, back to the Gulls Nest on 102.3 KCRX.
Welcome back to the Gulls Nest. Jason Boyd here with head girls basketball coach Mike Haas. Ocean Crest's never-ending quest to provide a better customer service experience has raised the bar. With their lifetime limited powertrain warranty on virtually every vehicle they sell, new or used, Ocean Crest Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac off Highway 101 in Warrenton, home of the lifetime warranty. So, Coach, 3 games down here for league, 3 wins. As you said before, the Astoria game gave you a chance to give a lot of other kids some opportunities in the second half. In the Valley Catholic game, really had that opportunity, and you needed someone to step up besides just putting your senior kids out on the floor and saying you guys need to score our points, so that Valley has to kind of concentrate on the kids shooting the threes and open things up. And one of the things that I was thinking about when we were watching this game is that last year through league, Maddie really wasn't 100%.
Yeah.
And we forget that. That we finished third and we were in some ball games, but she didn't really play 100%, and even in the state tournament she wasn't really at full strength. And to be able to see her at full strength against league teams, it makes a huge difference.
Oh, well, we think she's the best player in 4A, obviously.
Yeah.
Right at Cascade would make that argument, but she was playing very well. The first play of the Banks game, the first 30 seconds, she rolled the ankle really badly and went out of that Banks game and, missed Valley and Banks the next time around and was not 100% all the rest of the year. So, obviously, she's huge. You sometimes get, you rely on Maddie an awful lot, and it's like, well, yeah, we do. And Cleveland relies on LeBron. I'm going to try to take full advantage of this child's talents.
Right.
But we know I tell the girls, we need Maddie to be Maddie, but but the best teams will still focus to take her away. We need Breyer to be Breyer.
Right.
And we need Annika to come and hit shots, and we need Sid to be able to make plays, and we got to get Nisha and Gretchen, and Lucy in the post and knocking down putbacks and rebounding. As good as she is, and she's very good and very fun, and if you haven't watched her, you should come see her. But she can't do it alone. So,
right.
Which was proven, at times last year. We really struggled to score when she was hurt. I'm thinking that that's an area that we continue to think about. We put in some plays last night specifically for take advantage of some other kids, and so we're a team. I mean, we will go as far as the 12 can take us.
Right.
But it helps to have her as the centerpiece.
So, we kind of talk about areas to work on, and you mentioned getting other kids more involved, spreading the ball out a little bit more. What else are you doing to try to get this team to let's really find out where our ceiling is at? And I guess kind of that's one of the points that I was getting at with, we don't really know where our ceiling is this year with this group, because of there's so much of that kind of, for a lot of the fans, that mental pictures of going through league last year, and really seeing this team blossom. So it's really exciting to where they're going to go. What are the things that you're working on to try to get to those, those goals of getting to that final 8 and competing for a trophy on Saturday?
It's that week we lost North Marion and Cascade would have really I think helped us to really kind of understand where we are in the state picture. So we don't really know. I love what we do. I mean, we come and work hard. We're every game we learn something. We were fairly efficient, kind of taking the ball there out of the ball the last 4 minutes, but we need to do better at that. We need little things. We need to, continue to make free throws in big games. We talk and emphasize, execution. We're still at times, getting yelled at from the sideline to move to a certain place for some of our kids, both offensively and defensively. I think just playing with confidence. We still have kids that this is a fairly new experience. Maddie said it after the game. We were assessing ourselves, and she was like, we shot well. We didn't necessarily make, but it wasn't hurried, afraid shots like our Gladstone game was.
Confident shooting.
They were shots that were in and out. They were good shots. The tempo was right. They were squared up. So you're seeing, again, Breyer and Annika and Jetta and Anisha and some of the kids that get shots, getting more and more comfortable. And that's, I just think that a belief factor and keep honing what we do is what we have. And then, next week we get Banks to, give us another assessment of where we're at.
Right. So Tillamook on Friday.
Tillamook
7:30, and then Tuesday, I think that's the 31st.
It is, yeah.
Banks comes to town, and it's nice to get them at home. Tuesday night, 7:30.
Yeah.
They're currently ranked as number 2.
Yeah.
So it's a big challenge, but at the same time, if we want a league trophy, we got to go through these people.
It's a no to jump to Banks. Tillamook, we go to Tillamook. We've really had one game where I felt we kind of came out flat. That was kind of the Newport game. We talked about that. Tillamook has struggled, but I need this to be a game where we arrive with, our energy, who we are. That's when we're at our best. I need a game where I can get Emmy Kaiser and Gretchen and Nisha extended minutes because we're going to need them, down the road where they're comfortable and confident. So tomorrow night is another huge step for us in this process, and I'm looking forward to it. It's so fun to be playing games. It's like, all right, we get to play. I'm beginning to take on the Allen Iverson approach, to practice, Let's
play.
practice. They look at me. It's like, let's go play. This is fun.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck, and thanks again for being on the show.
All right.
When we return, we'll talk with Coach Bill Westerholm.
Stand by for more with Jason Boyd and the Gulls Nest next on 102.3 KCRX. Now, back to the Gulls Nest on 102.3 KCRX.
Welcome back to the Gulls Nest. Jason Boyd here with head boys basketball coach Bill Westerholm. Wanted to take a quick second to remind everybody that parent conferences are happening tonight until 8 o'clock and again tomorrow from 8 a.m. to noon at Broadway Middle School and Seaside High School. So, Coach, we got league underway last week with a game at Scappoose on Thursday. Quite a shootout there for Scappoose in the first half, and then we really put it together. I think offensively, a nice little streak in the second half to get a nice win. Then we hosted Astoria on Saturday. That was a pretty big game for us, as that Clatsop Clash rivalry is always has a lot of emotion to it. And then Valley Catholic here on Tuesday. Just to let everybody know, we go to Tillamook tomorrow at 6 p.m., and then to finish out the first half of league, we'll host Banks at 6 p.m. on Friday next Tuesday. Let's backtrack a little bit and just tell us quickly about the Scappoose game.
Yeah, these, that seems like we just got ready for league to start, and now all of a sudden it's
half over.
Yeah, it's almost half over with the first 5 through. At Scappoose, kids shot the ball pretty well. After an 8-day layoff for Scappoose, they actually came out in the first half and shot the ball pretty well, which was kind of surprising. But because of that 8-day layoff, their legs weren't there in the second half, and we kind of ran them off the gym, ran them out of the gym there in the second half, and ended up winning by 30 or so. Different kids shot well. Attic and Bab started league off with a nice night inside and out. I think he came out of that game with 25 points. And then we had, obviously, the team played pretty well there. Then coming back home against Astoria on Saturday night. That's right, because we had the delays that were still affecting us. It was a good game for our. I knew our older kids were going to be ready for that game, and it's a little bit different emotional charge for our younger kids. And whenever you have kind of those big games. Sometimes younger kids don't quite know how to react. Mm-hmm. The shot gets changed a little bit because you're not as relaxed. We didn't shoot the ball as well in the first half as we did in the second half. But Jackson showed up ready to play and put quite a few points in for us and led the way for us. But it was a great game for us to play for our younger kids, those sophomores. Before we played Valley Catholic, because Valley Catholic had a lot of big implications involved there. Right. Meaning that we knew that Valley Catholic was going to be one of the better teams. They just got through beating Banks last Friday, and we needed every single one of our kids to be ready to play because of the height differential,
which is dramatic.
And most every team that we play is, we're going to come up short on the height side.
But, on their 12-man roster, I think they only had 4 kids under 6'2".
Yeah, and those kids, only one of them really played, which was their point guard. So we play man-to-man defense. A lot of people were saying, well, how can you play man against teams that are, you're lining up a 6'7" shooting wing against a sophomore, Chase Janik, who's 5'10", and that kid he's an all-leaguer from last year, and he only had 2 points, which were off a steal. Mm-hmm. I was very impressed with our kids. They were all ready to play. We flew around the court defensively. Caused a lot of trouble for Valley Catholic, and on the offensive end against that 1-3-1 that Valley runs, they're long on top, they're long on the wings, they cover a lot of court, and we executed the game plan exactly the way that we needed to, and got some easy looks here and there, and then we hit some shots from the outside, and we held the ball at the end of each quarter, which is important. To get that last shot. And then at the end of the game, we were up 17 with about 5 minutes to go, and we decided to pull the ball out, and they put us to the free throw line, and I think we only missed one free throw in the last 5 minutes. Jackson Janik went 6 for 6 down the stretch. Peyton was 2 for 2. I think we ended up 11 for 12 in the last 5 minutes, and we held the ball, kind of just iced it, and got out of there with the win. Pretty impressive win at home, what we need to do, and now we're off to Tillamook on Friday night. And
Tillamook poses some different threats. It's more 2-3 traditionally. And they have a big kid inside, and they have fairly decent guard play. Anything that you're going to plan on doing differently to deal with Tillamook?
Well, they're going to have to deal with this in the full court, trying to get the ball up the court. They've got a decent guard in Ian Collette, who's a junior, and then Berge, who's a senior, 6'3", wing-type kid that shoots the ball probably better than as good as anybody in the state. So we got to stay attached to him. Tillamook, just like all the other teams in the league, are running some sort of zone. They run their 2-3 matchup. It's not really a traditional 2-3 like Banks is going to run. And we've got little wrinkles in the offense that get us into our motion zone offense.
Great. Well, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck at Tillamook, and then we'll see you and the rest of the crowd back here also on Tuesday against Banks, home at Seaside.
All right, thanks, Jason.
Go Gulls.
This show is also now available on our YouTube podcast archive. You'll find it at Ohana Media Group Coaches Shows on YouTube. Please like and subscribe.
Thank you for tuning in to the Gulls Nest, a weekly look at Seaside High School athletics. Join us Thursdays at 6 p.m. The Gulls Nest on 102.3 KCRX. Sponsored by Ocean Crest Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac.